Pioneers and disruptors, that's what the CEO's chair is all about. Today we have another young achiever on the show. Aditya Kale is the MD of Imperial Logistics. He started his career with the Merchant Navy and now owns his own supply chain and logistical management company based out of Pune. Aditya, welcome to the CEO's chair.
Thank you, Siddharth.
So Aditya, you started your career in the Merchant Navy and you come from a business family.
Yeah.
And how did you get the idea to move back to India from the UK and start Imperial Logistics?
So initially I completed my naval engineering from Pune.
Okay.
So about then I sailed in the a Hong Kong based company for 2 years.
Okay.
As a naval engineer. But after that, as you rightly said, I come from the business family. I already had aspirations to do something on my own. So I thought that this is not something which is a longer enterprise for me. So I decided to quit Merchant Navy and pursue further studies in UK. So while I was in the Merchant Navy, I got a thorough interest in supply chain management, and I thought that this can be a better career option for me from the business point of view. So I decided to quit Merchant Navy, and then I applied for masters in UK, and then I completed my supply chain in MBA, and now rest is history.
So you come from a business family. Your father's a pretty well-known architect in Pune.
Yeah.
Was he opposed to the idea of you starting something which is not related to the family business? Was it difficult to convince him?
So my elder brother, he is with my father. He's an architect.
Okay.
So I always had an option to diversify.
Okay.
My mother's entire family, like my mother's maternal family, they have the armed forces background. So so that time I always had that thing about Navy in my mind. But unfortunately, I didn't go in the Indian Navy. I did have a naval engineering, and I joined the Merchant Navy.
Of course. So Aditya, you started your career in the Merchant Navy, like we discussed. I know entrepreneurship is very cool nowadays. A lot of people want to leave their full-fledged careers and get into entrepreneurship and become business owners. How easy was it for you to change your mindset from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset?
So when I was sailing on board, I was an engineer on board. I was a part of a team which comprised of about 8 to 10 people. Correct. And we were assigned a task which we had to complete together. So if I was not able to deliver on an individual level, obviously there was somebody else who was doing that particular job and helping me out. And even in the subsequent jobs, when I was working in London or when I was working in Mumbai, I was always a part of a team. So when I started to be an entrepreneur or start my own business, then I realized that you don't have any colleagues. You always have subordinates.
True.
So you are the one who's fully responsible for all your actions.
Everything is your fault.
Everything is my fault. So
Correct.
Tomorrow, if my team is not able to deliver, then people are going to blame me as a leader.
Correct.
Then tomorrow, again, if my team is doing a good job, then the appreciation also comes to me, which I indirectly pass it on to my team. So it's like there are both pros and cons, but I had to change the entire mindset from being an service class gentleman to entrepreneur. I had to change my habits. I had to change the way I talk, my body language, and everything which I had to transform so that the client is impressed. Here, when you are working in a group, your individuality is not that is what matters. But when you are an entrepreneur, people would like to see how the leader behaves. Correct. So that the trust automatically comes in of that organization.
And in the last 6 to 7 years that your company has been around, you've gone from 1 client to about 25 clients. You've got a presence now in 5 different Indian cities at the moment.
Absolutely.
You work with employees that are of different cultural backgrounds. You
Absolutely.
work with them from different educational backgrounds.
Yeah.
You also work with them at different age and experience levels.
Yeah.
What would you say your leadership style is like?
So to become a good leader, the most important thing when you are dealing with such diverse kind of employee base, it's like you have to be patient.
Okay.
Because
are you a patient person by nature?
Now I am a patient person, you can say. Initially it was very difficult, but now I try to transform myself. And now I deal with people, even the labor class people who are working in my warehouses. That is something I have to deal with.
Okay.
Then we have some qualified engineers and supervisors who they have the different issues. So everybody comes to me with a different set of problems. So I have to listen to them patiently. I should be a good listener. That is what I realized in those
without reacting right away.
Yeah, obviously.
You have clients that are HNI and ultra HNI as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what would be your advice for somebody who's dealing with a client who's not very happy? How would they tackle that situation?
So in the 7 years which I have been running my own company, it's not. There have been times when my operational skills have been criticized, or when I say mine, it's like my people's operational skills or the services maybe I've lacked or to achieve the goals which that client has set.
Okay.
So there have been times when the client has criticized us as an organization. But what I sensed one thing is that this criticism is maybe it's very impromptu and short-lived. So a client usually reciprocates if I'm not able to deliver. Okay. So again, as I said previously, it's better you don't react when the client is criticizing you. You just have to understand why he's criticizing you, what is the problem, and after 10 minutes, let the moment pass. After 10 minutes, once he is again in this normal condition, you go back, you understand what are the problems which I need to improve upon, and accordingly take the steps. At that moment, if some senior person from my client company, he is not happy and is he's telling me that particular thing, and if I react or that saying that okay, no, this is not the right way. Obviously, if I give an excuse, then obviously this is then I'm going to lose that particular opportunity. Understood. So I just what I do is like I just listen out to whatever he has to say. Okay. I let that moment pass, and then accordingly once that thing is over, I rectify in my operational level.
So as a business owner, is it allowed or is it right to have pride and ego?
Pride is something you should have. Ego is something I think you should not have, because pride, it comes as you grow and you become successful. Correct. It's an inevitable feeling you get because you are achieving things in a good way.
Very true.
Ego is something you have ego in business and you're going to lose upon good opportunities. That is what I think. Yeah. In service industry, ego or in business, like either way, if you're a working class professional, if you're a business class professional, ego is going to destroy your career. That's what I think.
You are in a very traditional business. Supply chain management has been around for decades now. Yeah. Is there, what are you doing differently, or is there scope for innovation in your business as well?
So when it comes to my core business, obviously I believe in innovation. That is the first thing. So when it comes to my core business, in my core business also try to find out the loopholes in this entire supply chain and try to keep on innovating them. So recently we started giving one solution to our clients, that is e-commerce portal management. Okay. So I sense that a lot of people sell their products online. True. And they have substantial volume which they are selling through various portals like Amazon, Flipkart, maybe their own website.
Absolutely.
So we started approaching them, and then gradually I got a substantial client base out of that, and this is something innovative. We maintain their inventory at our warehouse. Okay. Then we do, once the order comes, we do all the primary, secondary packaging, then sticking of the barcodes, and then the last mile deliveries or something also done by me. Of course. So a lot of people had this problem. We tried to touch that problem through an innovation, and that is e-commerce portal management.
No, and entrepreneurship is all about obviously innovation. It's all about identifying a problem that your client or a potential client may have, and giving them a solution. Yeah.
So I also, as I told you, I believe in innovation and I like to try out something new. Correct. So when I was in UK, I had used a public storage facility because I was studying in Newcastle, then I got a job in London, so I had to store all my goods somewhere. That's why I had used a public storage facility in Newcastle, where I kept all my luggage till the time I was working. So public storage was again not a very popular concept in Pune. So me being into warehousing business, I thought like why not break the taboo that only corporates or manufacturing companies need warehousing. Even common man needs warehouse. So I started, my company was the pioneer to start a public storage in Pune. We initially constructed a few lock and key cabins which we started marketing, and we wanted to rent it out to common man. And within 3 months after we started this particular facility, I was again building new cabins, and now we are catering more than about 40 odd clients.
That's amazing, and they're all booked up. People
have been using it's overbooked right now. Okay. So there is demand for this particular business. So that is something. This was one of the innovations I tried to replicate in India. Correct. So in Pune there is no as such kind of public storage facility which provide lock and key cabins. So my company was the pioneer to this particular venture. and I'm happy that people are liking it.
We talked offline a little bit about Airattix, your new pet project.
Absolutely.
So what is that about?
The US-based company is developing this entire software, wherein we are doing this under the brand of Airattix.
Okay.
So it's something like Airbnb for goods storage. So this particular venture again has two solutions, as I told you. One is the parking solution and one is the goods storage solution. We are promoting as a rental of spaces, storage spaces.
Of course.
So again, you park a car or you store the goods. That's the customers and the host perspective. But both the problems are having an relation to the common man daily issues or course.
So that's very interesting, Aditya. You've got two very, very distinct lines of business. You've got a much more traditional model, and now you've got a new age tech infused model. What is the vision for both Imperial Logistics as well as Airattix? Where do you go from here?
For Imperial, we, as it's a service industry model, we have a lot of prospects within India and even overseas. So recently we registered Imperial under the name of Imperial Supply Chain Solutions LLP in India also, and because the logistics is typically people relate to transportation, but I am a warehousing and inventory management guy, so that's how I wanted to promote. So we had another company registered, and again I registered that company in UK because now UK is on the verge of re-exit, so a lot of new opportunities are going to come up.
One last question before we wrap up is the transition from a merchant navy career to setting up your own business must not have been easy. Yeah. For anybody else that's out there that's watching the show, what are probably the top 2 or 3 qualities, skills, attributes that you would recommend that they have in them to make the transition as easy as possible? Okay.
So 3 things which helped me scale up in my business, or which are helping me right now to do the business here after this merchant navy career. One is resilience, teamwork, and this cross cultural interaction which I had when I was on board.
Okay.
So when I say resilience, obviously the work culture is very different when you're on board. There are harsh conditions in the engine room, as I was an engineer on board. Absolutely. Then you don't see land for maybe a couple of weeks or maybe more than that if you're on a long road. But still you have to be competent enough and keep on performing, because risk is involved everywhere when you're in the engine room. So you have to have your presence in mind always. Correct. So that's what something is helping me right now. Then we have people from various countries and cultures. We are working together. We have Filipino and Russian and Ukrainian people who are working together as engineers in the same engine room. So correct. That helped me scale up my own ability to interact with these kind of different cultural people, and now I'm finding it very useful in my own business.
Great. Yeah. So Aditya, it's been a pleasure talking to you on the CEO's chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And for all those who are out there that are watching, so thank you all so much for watching, and look forward to seeing you again soon.